that. The hotels will be restricted to patrons only. So if I had a spa in Desert Hot Springs and it was a bud and breakfast where you could go and do the things that we're talking about, that would be it. You'd have to be a patron of the hotel. So somebody that lived down the street, they're like, hey, I want to go to the hotel and buy some marijuana so I can take it home this evening and smoke it. It's not going to happen. They're going to need to go to any one of the
So I solved this one. Any marijuana that's left on the pillow or that's in the room in advance has to show up on the hotel room charge along with a lodging night.
That's it.
Live from the desert cities of Southern California.
You guys have your costumes ready?
The Russ Betts Show on iHub Radio.
But the other part of Cana-tourism was these buses. And if you get in a limousine, you can drink. As long as it's separated, the driver isn't any part of that. But in Colorado, they tried to set it up where a guy's in a bus, one of those limo-type buses. They go from one dispensary to the next, or one grow to the next, and they here, have a sample, and you smoke it on the bus, and then you go to the next one while you're going from one dispensary to another. You're smoking the marijuana from the dispensary you just at or something, but the driver's completely separated from that. And to make a long story short here, because we do have only an hour, they swooped in on this guy with feds, and everybody else arrested him, and guns drawn, everybody, and shut this guy down.
That must have been quite some time ago.
It was about 3, 4, maybe 5 months ago.
Well, we did a convention. CVCAN has an annual convention, and the last one we did was in April in Desert Hot Springs at the Miracle Springs Resort. And we had tours set up where we had 2 different types of tours where you could go and you could tour the cultivation facilities, and then you could go to a dispensary and you could buy recreational cannabis at these dispensaries. And the bus that we used was a company that had the right insurance policy in place that allowed consumption on the bus. So you could technically get on the bus, and it was like a very limo type of bus.
Did anybody know? Because if you did this in Colorado and Denver, they had 2 of them going, and they actually pulled the guy over, and all the people that were on the bus had to get out and sit on the
we got away with it. So
yeah, well,
I forgot I was on radio, but
we have a few people.
Really nice bus. Now listen, it was really cool.
Thousand.
So you've got, you've got like a limo style bus, and you've got, your headphones right there, so you can jam out and you can listen to whatever you want. But just really, really kind of interesting, full service type limo bus that was taking people back and forth to the recreational dispensaries. And it wasn't like a daily thing, but you're at a convention. So, you're at a convention and you're listening to these speakers talk, and you're seeing all these vendors with their products and their services. And it's like, okay, well, I'm going to get on the Cannabis and I'm going to go to the dispensary. I'm going to buy some recreational marijuana. And then if I want to, I can partake on the back of that bus. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay. Well, we'll have to see what happens, because I'm sure there's going to be the discussion is not going to go nearly this easily on the council. We've got we'll see what happens. The other one is the smoking lounges, and I know a couple of the cities are talking about. I think Palm Springs is talking about doing a regular full-on, what do you call it, Amsterdam style smoking lounge, where you, instead of a bar, there's no alcohol in there, but instead of a bar, you're going to go in and you have a place you can go smoke.
Yes.
And I guess they need to permit that for some reason.
Yeah.
The state says you have to have it permitted. I mean, again, there's people who are, it's legal to smoke it. So, but I guess they have to be able to sell it in there and consume it. And so
the state, I don't really know where the state lands on that. I think it's still like under discussion. They're still formulating their regulations around that.
Okay. And
I went to, if I can just jump, I went to a really interesting meeting last night. It was put on by the California Department of Food and Agriculture and Cannabis. They're the state agency that licenses the cultivation facilities, and they were in Palm Desert yesterday hosting a stakeholder meeting. And it was about appellations, like in France, you can only get champagne in a certain area of France. So what they want, the state wants to have the local communities brand their products. So, and this gets back into the whole Cana-tourism. This gets back into the lounge scenario, because if you come to Desert Hot Springs, and Desert Hot Springs can be synonymous for the quality of cannabis and the type of cannabis products that are produced in the city, then you kind of have like a sticker that, you know, this is just desert hot springs.
Yeah, but I haven't seen the city of Coachella holding back. They're doing the Cana-tourism hotel.
Yes.
And I think they're having some cannabis event. That's another thing. You have a cannabis event. And I don't want listeners out there to think I just like anything goes. I understand some of this has impacts, but I'm generally predisposed to thinking that you don't need to go ask permission for everything you do. I know these people said, well, we need a city task force. And I'm going, well, what do you need a city task force go? You don't need the city to task force.
The hotels will be restricted to patrons only. So if I had a spa in Desert Hot Springs and it was a bud and breakfast where you could go and do the things that we're talking about, that would be it. You'd have to be a patron of the hotel. So somebody that lived down the street, they're like, hey, I want to go to the hotel and buy some marijuana so I can take it home this evening and smoke it. It's not going to happen. They're going to need to go to any one
so
of the
I solved this one. Any marijuana that's left on the pillow or that's in the room in advance has to show up on the hotel room charge along with a lodging night.
That's it.
Live from the desert cities of Southern California.
You guys have your costumes ready?
The Russ Betts Show on iHub Radio.